Hey, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Don, and today's video is going to be all about why I decided not to apply to doctoral programs. Before we get started, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notification button to be notified of more videos like this. I make videos surrounding social work, lifestyle, and professional development. So if that's something that you're into, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification button, follow me on Instagram for, I guess, live up-to-dates and like insiders into my job on a day-to-day basis, as well as just my personal life and just like my everyday life. And finally, I run a series called Transparent Thursdays, and that's kind of where I dive deeper into my personal views and just how things impact me and how just my response to things, to life situations, and just how I really feel about things. Because on this channel, I don't really share a lot of that, and so the newsletter is called Transparent, and so it's released every Thursday. So if that's something you're interested in, you want me to dive a little bit deeper, you want to learn more about me and just kind of my challenges and how I'm navigating those things, then subscribe to that. The last announcement is my sale is going to be ending at the end of August. I am going to be raising my prices back. I've received a lot of inquiries, and I've been working with you all at the discounted price of $50 for a professional development session, whether that's like resume or cover letter edits and draftings, or interview preps, or research about certain programs, editing your personal statements, all of those things. It just takes so much time that I'm just not going to be able to do it for $50 anymore. So because it's while I meet with you for an hour over the phone, there's about a 2 to 3 hour prep in between that, and that's how I'm able to fit everything in within an hour. So if you want to catch that sale, the link is in my bio, and it'll be here until the end of August of 2021. So if you're a loyal community member, then you know that I've applied to doctoral programs 2 consecutive years. I applied in the 2018-2019 academic year, and then the 2019-2020 academic year. And then the 2020-2021 academic year, I decided not to apply to doctoral programs. And there were a few reasons for that. And if you're interested in doctoral videos, then check the description box below. I'll have a few other videos linked there. But the first reason is that my professional goals are evolving, and so for me, as my professional goals evolve, it really leads into the second point of whether or not a doctorate is necessary for what I want to do. I think that to obtain a doctorate is I have mixed emotions about it, but I think it's a very personal decision. Some people are in it for the emotionalism that comes with it, the pride and the sense of achievement that comes with it, the just kind of the notion of being considered an expert in your field, or just receiving the highest degree possible. For some people, that's important and that's a goal, and I used to be one of those people, but I'm not anymore. So now that my values have shifted and I don't necessarily view a doctorate with as much esteem as I once did, it kind of, because my question to my thought too was like, especially as a father now, I wanted to have that legacy for my son, and I wanted to say, okay, you can be what you see. And so if you see your father doctorally educated black men, then like you can be a doctorally educated black man too if you so choose. But I can give that message without having a doctorate, and my values have shifted. It's not to say that I don't value education, but it's to say that there's been a shift. So now that my goals are different, I used to have a huge desire to teach and pursue like a career in academia or a teaching career. I don't know that that's the case anymore. I taught 2 semesters as an adjunct faculty member, and it just wasn't what I thought it'd be, and that's another video for another time. But I think that to obtain a doctorate for the sole purpose of teaching full-time is no longer a goal of mine. So, and there are so many other ways that you can teach and that you can provide education, and like this channel is considered what's called, I think it's called like a public academic, or her name's Rachel. She coined the term that she's like a public academic scholar, and that's just like more accessible, and it's not like you're not behind the gatekeepers of academia and journals where you have to pay hundreds of dollars for access to the research, and there's like this strenuous process to have your findings and your significant contributions to the field approved to be included into the literature. And so there's just a lot of innovative things that's happening where people are taking control and taking a different approach and not necessarily adhering to those things anymore. So and I feel the same way, that I am able to teach with on here. I'm able to teach via social media. I'm able to teach in a few other ways that I'll announce soon to you all. But those are the first 2. The third thing is I'm on the fence as to what I should obtain a doctorate in. So that's another factor. Now that I'm at an academic hospital with tuition benefits, and they offer a number of master's degrees as well as doctorate degrees, I am at this crossroad where I have to decide whether or not that's something I want to do. And if I do, looking at, okay, well, this is free tuition and I could stay in my job, and this could send me down a different path that maybe I had not considered before, such as healthcare administration. Again, you don't need a doctorate for that. You don't necessarily need a second master's, but it could be helpful. But either way, if that is something that I make a final decision on, and these are more like midterm and long-term goals. So I think that for me, when I look at that, it's like, okay, I want to be sure. I don't want to get a doctorate and then I'm like, oh, I want to do something else. And so I think that when you think about doctorates, I also think about learning a new skill. And like, as I assess the DSW programs, I don't know that I'd even be learning a new skill. So I'm considering other disciplines. Like the hospital I'm at, they have a PhD in health science. Then the other, I guess I could say that this could be another video too if you're interested. I could just kind of share like doctoral or second master's programs that I'm considering. But there's just a few other options that would also result in a higher pay. I receive a good pay now, but I know that like it's not the pay I want to retire with. And so as I think about my future, and like if I decide to work for someone, work for an organization, then I definitely think about the importance of ensuring that I'm setting myself up for continual promotions, and that I'm able to have an upward trend as opposed to these horizontal and lateral positions. Like I don't want to go from one social worker job to the next social worker job. Like I think for me, my goal is either go from social work to private practice full-time, and then from private practice to just kind of overseeing that practice, or me going from a social worker here to an administrator and kind of going further up with that. So that's kind of my thoughts and my logic behind that. And so unless like my doctorate was in a different field and it's a career change, or it's an elevation to be able to do more within mental health, such as prescribe or something like that. And so that leads me to the last one, and that is I personally would like to just take a break. I think that I'm in need of a break. I think that there was so much comfort that I had in being a student that I really just needed to learn how to be an adult, to be like a full-time employee, or business owner, whatever title you want to use, without school. Like I'd been in school my whole life, so that felt natural to me. It felt natural to get a doctorate, to just keep going. But then I'll get that doctorate and feel like, oh, now I have to get this other degree and this other degree. And there are so many other ways to learn, and I'll probably do a video about that too, like alternative routes other than like getting a degree. There are so many continuing education programs and opportunities for you to pursue to hone your skills that's much less expensive, much less time consuming, and in some cases much more beneficial to your direct practice and your growth as a clinician or as a professional in the field. I also like the thought of, as I receive more experience and dive deeper into this field, there's so much to learn. There's so many subspecialties within social work, and even within, I'm working at a cancer center, there's so many subspecialties within cancer. Cancer is so broad, and so just allowing myself to dive deeper and to learn more about a specific thing before I run off to the next thing. Like I really want to stay here and stay in this role for a few years. I want to do in a perfect world at least 5 years in this role, and really just see what comes of it, see what clarity I receive, see what sense of direction I receive, see what new passion projects derive from it, or just emerging themes that I notice, and it can really inform my next move, my next direction. And it'll also let me know what I need and what I don't need from an organization, from work, things of that nature. In this job, it'll also let me know, like staying at one place for a certain amount of time, this place is big enough to let me know, like if I'm meant to work at an organization full time, or like if I should return to private practice full time and remain there. That is it for this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and comment in the comment section below. If you maybe are thinking about pursuing a doctoral degree but you're hesitant, just sharing in the comment section why you're hesitant, or why haven't you submitted your application. I'd love to hear that down below. And if you know other people considering doctoral programs, send this video their way. Sometimes we can be crowded with so much noise about like this person doing this and this person doing that, and we could feel so behind and we could feel inadequate when all of our journeys are different. And that was the other thing. I had to really be okay with where I was at and recognize that it's okay for me to settle down. It's okay to kind of become accustomed, and you know, it's kind of like living out of a suitcase. Like, you know, you're always on the go. There's nothing, you know, there's no sense of permanency and or not permanency, but just stability. And so for me, I just like the thought of just being able to relax and just really dive deep into something and get to know an organization, get to learn different leadership styles, get to see other professions, like working alongside other healthcare professionals can inform my decision too, of like, oh, this is what a physician is doing, this is what a nurse is doing, this is what an NP is doing, this is what a PA is doing, this is what a speech language pathologist is doing, this is what a chaplain is doing. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Like, I work with so many people. I mean, I work with an acupuncturist or a Chinese medicine provider. So if you get nothing else from this video, if you decide not to apply to that bachelor's, that master's, that doctorate program, it doesn't make you a failure. It just gives you time to learn more about your why and your interest, and you get to evaluate if that why is substantial. So thanks so much for watching, and until I see you next time, be you, be great.